Oh, here are these cute little bunnies that I bought from next door, from a neighbor next door. Well, the next door app, but happy Easter. And I saw that cute little lamb today that I posted a video of. So hope you're having a good Easter week and Holy Week. So I'm looking at the different books of the Bible, the different Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, um, and the different versions or what it includes, what it doesn't include. So Mark Sketchbook. So I'm Jill Mockingbird on Mark Sketchbook. I put together like 13 or 14 sketchbooks, and I thought I'd read Mark. I did every verse of Mark. So Mark 14:26, and we just talked about this for the Last Supper. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said to them, all of you will be made to stumble because of me this night. You will all fall away because of me. For it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered. So I saw some sheep today, but I didn't see a shepherd. But Jesus will be struck down, and his people will be scattered. Mark 14:28. But after I have been raised, I will go before you to Galilee. The disciples, Jesus will rise, go to Galilee before the disciples. So who's going to go first? Jesus will go first to Galilee. Peter said to him, even if all are made to stumble, yet I will not be. Not me, said Peter. Jesus said to him, assuredly I say to you that today, this night, you will disown me. So I just want to talk a little bit about Peter. He's a great disciple and a great leader, the head of the church. But he did stumble and fall and messed up, but we all do. Jesus still loves us. Mark 14:30. Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. So in Matthew, I think it was, I just read, the rooster crows once, I believe, and here in Mark it crows twice. So I like these little differences. The whole message is still true and solid, but there's little differences between the Gospels. So 3 times Peter will say, deny Jesus. Who's Jesus? I don't know Jesus. I denied knowing Jesus. 3 times, and the rooster will crow twice. So Peter will disown Jesus 3 times before the cock crows. The rooster crows 2 times. And then, I should write, and then the cock will crow 2 times, the rooster. But he spoke more vehemently, more strongly. If I have to die with you, I will not deny you. Peter says, if I have to die with you. So a lot of these are similar to Matthew. Maybe I shared the same pictures. If I have to die with you, I will not deny you. I don't know Jesus. Peter denying Jesus will never happen. We will find out. And they all said likewise. Us too will never deny Jesus. So that is in Matthew as well. Mark 14:32. Then they came to a place which was named Gethsemane, and he said to his disciples, sit here while I pray. Gethsemane. So these were pictures that I did all together and cut them up to write out the verses. And he took Peter, James, and John with him, and he began to be troubled and deeply distressed. Then he said to them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch. Peter, James, and John. Peter, James, and John in a sailboat. So Jesus is feeling desperate, close. He wants to die. I don't know. He's very sorrowful right now. He went a little farther and fell on the ground and prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. And he said, fell on the ground, said, might this hour pass? Father, all things are possible for you. Take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not what I will, but what you will. God, take this cup away from me, but not what I want, but what you want. So Jesus will have to drink the cup that God gave him. He'll have to die for us. Mark 14:37. Then he came and found them sleeping and said to Peter, Simon, are you sleeping? Could you not watch for 1 hour? 1 hour? Couldn't you stay awake and watch? This is very important. Watch and pray lest you enter into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Watch and pray, stay awake, so you don't enter into temptation. The outside is weak, but the inside is willing. Again, he went away and prayed and spoke the same words. He went away and asked again, Father, if it's your will, take this cup from me. I have to do this. Oh my goodness, this is hard stuff. Mark 14:40. And when he returned, he found them asleep again. Jesus returns, and again they're asleep. It is the middle of the night, but for their eyes were heavy, and they did not know how to answer him. They didn't know how to answer him. What should we say? We're really tired. Then he came the third time and said to them, are you still sleeping? It is enough. Maybe they don't understand what's happening. The hour has come. Behold, the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us be going. See, my betrayer is at hand. The time has come. Rise, get up. I've been betrayed into the hands of sinners. Judas has betrayed him and turned him in. Let's go. The betrayer is at hand. He's here. Judas is here. Mark. So this is the one picture that I did. I think I kept that in Mark. Sleeping. Jesus prayed. Again, you're asleep. Enough. Rise, let us go. My betrayer is at hand. The outside is weak. The inside is willing. I think this is the second time I drew this out. Sometimes I'll include two drawings because I like both of them. And you can circle whatever one you like. If you like it all together, or if you like the previous page when it's all cut up into different elements. Mark 14:43. Just as he was speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared. With him was a crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests, the teachers of the law, and the elders. So here comes Judas. Sorry. I have a cold this weekend, but at least I get to spend time with you on YouTube. So here's Judas leading the crowd with swords, who's coming with swords and clubs, and they're looking for Jesus to turn him in and kill him. The crowd with swords and clubs from the chief priests, teachers of the law, and elders, the older people, older leaders, from the chief priests, teachers of the law, lawyers, and elders. They're all coming to get Jesus, and Judas is leading them. Mark 14:44. Now the betrayer had arranged a signal with them. Whoever I kiss, he is the one. Seize him and lead him away quietly. Judas. And he goes to Jesus. It's, Rabbi, kiss. So that's Judas' kiss. He betrayed him with a kiss. In those days, in that culture, they would kiss each other. like the Greeks or the French kiss on the cheek or on the lips, maybe. Then they know this is Jesus because he kissed him. Judas kiss. Then they lay hands on him and took him. They arrested him. And one of those who stood by drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. So I think it's Matthew. I don't think I drew it. I need to look that up. But Jesus heals Malchus, I think his name is, who got his ear cut off. And I think that was by Peter. Then Jesus answered and said to them, "Am I leading a rebellion? Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs to take me?" What's going on here? Am I like a robber? Mark 14:49. I was daily with you in the temple teaching, and you did not seize me. You did not grab me in the temple, but the scriptures must be fulfilled. So in the Old Testament, they talk about Jesus dying and rising again. The scriptures must be fulfilled. This must happen. Then they all forsook him and fled. So I think the disciples left. Let's get out of here. Bye, Jesus. They're running away. Then everyone left him. Jesus is alone. So this is them seizing Jesus, grabbing him. The authorities and his disciples running away. And Jesus was alone. Mark 14:51, a young man wearing nothing but a linen garment was following Jesus. When they seized him, he fled naked, leaving his garment behind. I have to get out of here. So this might have been John, I believe. So there was a young man following wearing nothing but a garment, and they seized him, and he fled naked. They took Jesus to the high priest, and all the chief priests, the elders, and the teachers of the law came together. So Jesus is taken to the high priest. Everybody came together, chief priests, elders, teachers of the law, lawyers. Peter followed him at a distance. So Peter's still there, but he's a long way away. At the courtyard of the high priest, a courtyard, I wrote, is an area surrounded by a building. So the court is an area of the high priest, and Jesus is there, and Peter is following. Mark 14:54. There he sat with the guards and warmed himself at the fire. Courtyard of the high priest. There's Peter and the guards warming themselves by the fire. Excuse me. I hope you can understand me, okay? The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for evidence against Jesus so they can put him to death. But they didn't find any. Where's the evidence? Where's the proof against Jesus? The chief priests and Sanhedrin, but there was none. There is none. Mark 14:56. Many testified falsely against him. Their statements did not agree. So somebody said one thing, their statements did not agree. Jesus did this. No, Jesus did this. The evidence, the testimony was not very good. Mark 14:57. Then some stood up and gave this false testimony against him. We heard him say, I will destroy this temple made with human hands, and in 3 days will build another not made with human hands. False testimony against Jesus. We heard him say, I will destroy the temple made with human hands. In 3 days we'll build another not made with hands. So I think he was talking about Jesus. I will destroy the temple, but I'm not sure about that. Yet even then, their testimonies did not agree. Their stories did not line up. They didn't agree. They were lies. Then one high priest stood up before them and asked Jesus, are you not going to answer? What is this testimony that these men are bringing against you? People are bringing a testimony, a story against him. What is this? Why won't you talk? But Jesus remained silent and gave no answer. Like a silent lamb. Mark 14:60. Okay, there's a lot here. Well, I'll go quicker. 14:16. Again, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" "I am," said Jesus, "and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." I am the Messiah. I am the Messiah. You will see Jesus at the right hand of the Mighty One of God and coming on the clouds of heaven. The high priest tore his clothes. Here's my clothes. I'm ripping them apart. "You heard his blasphemy against God. What do you think?" They all condemned him as worthy of death. Death, he's talking like he is God. He's talking against God. That's blasphemy. Then some began to spit at him. Psst, I won't spit, but it comes from your mouth. They blindfolded him and struck him. They hit him, and they blindfolded him so he couldn't see. You can't see. They blindfolded him and hit him. Mark 14:66. Now as Peter was below in the courtyard, one of the servant girls of the high priest came. And when she saw Peter warming himself, she looked at him and said, "You also were with Jesus of Nazareth." So there's Peter warming himself by the fire. The servant girl of the high priest saw Peter and said, "You also were with Jesus." But he denied it, saying, "I neither know nor understand what you're saying. What are you talking about?" "No, I don't know what you're talking about," to the servant girl, Peter said. And he went out on the porch, and a rooster crowed. Cock-a-doodle-doo, or in Spanish, kikiriki. He went to the little area outside the court. Mark 14:72. A second time, the rooster crowed, kikiriki. Then Peter called to mind the words that Jesus said to him, "Before the rooster crows twice, you will deny me 3 times. You will pretend you don't know me. You'll act like you don't know me. You'll deny me." And then he thought about it. And he wept. He cried, "I can't believe I denied Jesus, my friend, my Savior, my leader." Mark 14:69. And the servant girl saw him again and began to say to those who stood by, Oh, this one skipped. We skipped. Sorry about that. This was right before Peter was crying. And the servant girl saw him again and began to say to those who stood by, "This is one of him," but he denied it again. "Oh no, I'm not one of them." And a little later, a few minutes later, those who stood by said to Peter again, "Surely you were one of them," bystanders, people standing by. "Surely you're one of them, Christian, for you are a Galilean and your speech shows it. You have an accent. You're Galilean." And then he began to curse and swear, "I don't know what this man of whom you speak." And he said bad words. And then, sorry, I messed that up. And then he denied Jesus a 3rd time, and the rooster crowed twice. Mark 15:1. Immediately in the morning, there's the sun coming up. The chief priests hold a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council. So they're having a meeting, chief priests, elders, scribes, all the Sanhedrins. And they bound Jesus, led him away, and delivered him to Pilate. Bound and delivered Jesus to the governor. Mark 15:2. Then Pilate asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "It is as you say." He answered and said to him, "It is as you say, yes. Jesus is king of the Jews." And the chief priests accused him of many things. You've done many things, Jesus. We accuse you." But he answered nothing. Jesus was quiet. J'accuse. We accuse you. You did it. But Jesus said nothing. Mark 15:4. Then Pilate asked him again, saying, "Do you answer nothing? You're not saying anything." Excuse me. "See how many things they testify against you?" We charge you with many things. You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this. But Jesus answered nothing, so that Pilate marveled. Wow. Jesus didn't reply, and Pilate the governor was amazed. What in the world? Mark 15:6. Now at the feast, at the Passover feast, that's a Jewish festival, he was accustomed to releasing one prisoner to them, to the people. Who should I release? It's my tradition, said Pilate the governor. Should I release this guy or this guy or this guy? Whomever they requested, whoever the people wanted him to release. Pilate released whoever they wanted. That one, who are they? What prisoner should we ask to be released? And there was one named Barabbas who was chained with his fellow rebels. So he was a rebel, fought against the government. Barabbas was chained up with the rebels. Mark 15:7. They had committed murder in the rebellion. The rebels murdered somebody. They had killed somebody. Then the multitude, crying aloud, began to ask him to do just as he had always done for them. Okay. Do as you usually do for us. Hey, the crowd is getting rambunctious and noisy. Just do it. But Pilate answered them, saying, do you want me to release to you the King of Jews? So maybe Pilate likes Jesus. Do you want Jesus to be released? For he knew that the chief priests had handed him over because of envy and jealousy. The chief priests turned Jesus over because they were jealous. Are they going to release Jesus or Barabbas? But the chief priests stirred up the crowd, got them worked up. The priest moved the people, stirred them up, around and around, got them going, so that he should rather release Barabbas to them. Jesus or Barabbas? Let Jesus go. Let Barabbas go, said the people. The murderer, let the murderer go, but kill Jesus. Terrible. Pilate answered and said to them again, what then do you want me to do with him who you call the King of Jews? What do you want me to do with Jesus, who you call the King of Jews? King of the Jews. Pilate said, what do you want me to do? So they cried out, crucify him, put him on the cross, and kill him. Then Pilate said to them, why? What evil has he done? What's he done? Pilate says about Jesus. He's innocent. But they cried out all the more, crucify him, kill him. Terrible. Mark 15:15. So Pilate, wanting to gratify the crowd, Pilate was a crowd pleaser. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do, thought Pilate. He released Barabbas to them. You're free. Yay! Barabbas is let go, the murderer. And he delivered Jesus after he had scourged him. Jesus was whipped with a whip. He delivered him to be crucified. Jesus is going to be on the cross and die. Barabbas will be let go. So we talked about Pilate washing his hands in Matthew. Mark 15:16. Then the soldiers led him away into the hall called Praetorium. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Praetorium Hall. And they called together the whole garrison. That's an army. They called the army together, the soldiers together. They clothed him with purple. I think it was red in Matthew. They put purple on him, and they twisted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. So they twisted the thorns, twist, turn it around and around, and they made a crown of thorns for Jesus. Dressed him in red, Mark 15:18, and began to salute him. Hail, King of the Jews! He wore purple. They were making fun of him. Then they struck him on the head with a reed. They struck him on the head with a reed, like a little stick. Jesus stuck on the head struck on the head, and spat on him. They spit a lot from their mouths, and bowing the knee, they worshipped him. But are they really worshiping him, or are they making fun of him? They're making fun of him. Mark 15:20. We've got about 10 pages here. And when they had mocked him, mocking, they took the purple off him. They took his purple clothes off